Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we have a really dense stack of sources. We're charting what feels like the absolute peak of global AI acceleration.
It really does.
We're talking everything from, infrastructure investments that just shatter records to these revolutionary new models and maybe most importantly, the immediate kind of volatile real-world risks they're introducing.
Right. It's a lot to cover.
Yeah, and we're not here to just read headlines back at you. Our mission is to filter this huge amount of info, pull out the facts you really need to know.
The core stuff.
Exactly, and show you how this, frankly, frantic and expensive competition is reshaping the whole tech landscape and probably your life right now.
And if we need just one number, one piece of data to sort of set the stage for this scale, it's $100 billion.
Wow.
That's the reported potential size, anyway, of this partnership between OpenAI and NVIDIA.
Okay.
And the goal, building at least 10 gigawatts of AI data centers. I mean, we're not just talking about upgrading here. This is colossal. A total restructuring of global compute power.
Okay, so let's unpack that scale. Starting with the physical side, this arms race, what we've been calling the compute wars.
Yep.
That $100 billion figure you mentioned, it didn't just make news. It apparently added, something like $200 billion to NVIDIA's valuation almost instantly.
Yeah, the market reaction was swift.
That fact alone, it tells you just how much the market values getting guaranteed access to that future hardware. It's unbelievable.
And it's not just the amount of money, right? It's the speed and the specifics of the hardware. NVIDIA is already defining the next baseline for, elite AI training.
With what specifically? The sources mentioned.
They detail the GB300 NVL72 rack, which is essentially this liquid-cooled superstack. It packs 72 Blackwell Ultra GPUs.
72?
Yeah, and 36 Grace CPUs. It's a test.
Yeah.
And that's becoming the new minimum bar if you want to train the kind of models we'll probably talk about later.
Okay, so massive supply effort. But what's fascinating, as you said, is that even with this push, the constraints seem to be getting tighter.
Paradoxically, yeah. We're seeing reports, for instance, that OpenAI is actively trying to poach hardware talent from places like Apple.
Really?
And partnering with manufacturers, Luxshare was mentioned, potentially to build their own dedicated hardware, maybe some kind of context-aware consumer device.
So they're going vertical.
Exactly. Everyone knows compute is the bottleneck, the sort of gold standard right now. So they're trying to control it end to end.
And that kind of pressure, it immediately gets regulators interested, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Our sources definitely show UK and EU regulators stepping up scrutiny, looking hard at these AI mergers and big strategic partnerships.
Trying to prevent consolidation.
Yeah, specifically trying to keep one or two players from locking up the market. They want to ensure access to this, foundational resource stays somewhat fair.
But the underlying demand is just, it's wild. You hear these whispers about, zero GPU experiments, people trying to be super efficient.
Right, squeezing more out of less.
But on the ground, the reality seems pretty stark. Getting your hands on the actual hardware still feels like a relationship-driven hustle, as one source put it.
You can't just click buy now.
Not the cutting-edge stuff at scale, no. And here's a projection that really stuck with me. One forecast suggests GPUs could actually outnumber humans by 2050.
Wow. That's hard to even picture.
It paints this picture of just intense, almost violent coexistence, between this breakneck technological speed and deep, deep scarcity.
Okay. So if that infrastructure is the fuel and scarcity is the constraint, the next big question is, what are companies actually building with the limited compute they manage to get?
Right. And that leads us straight into what people are calling the agent revolution.
Ah, yes. Agents.
We're seeing this shift, a really clear shift from just static large language models, the ones that, just generate text or code, to these fully autonomous AI agents.
Things that can actually do stuff.
Exactly. Execute complex multi-step tasks across different apps, different environments, all on their own.
So how do you test something like that? It sounds harder than testing an LLM.
It is. And that's why Meta recently released GIA2. GAIA stands for General AI Assistant.
All right.
It's a much, much tougher benchmark specifically for agents.
Okay.
And they also open sourced their agents research environments, or RE. These basically force developers to stress test their agents in realistic settings. Noisy, asynchronous, app-like chaos.
Simulating the real world, basically.
Trying to make sure these agents don't just fall apart when they hit the complexity of actual deployment.
And we're seeing specific tools coming out now, right? Tools that enable these agent workflows, moving beyond just simple chat.
Definitely. Look at Microsoft's Zero repo. That seems like a pretty massive step
Oh, so.
because it apparently generates full software projects using something they call repository planning graphs.
Not just code snippets.
No, not just isolated functions. It's designing the whole architecture, the scaffolding. That could fundamentally change how developers work, right? Delegating entire project setups to AI.
That's a huge leap. And it's creaking into daily work, too.
Seems like it. Perplexity's email assistant, for instance. The sources say it's now actually executing meeting scheduling, prioritizing replies across Gmail, Outlook, doing real tasks based on email context.
Whoa.
And on the performance side, you have companies like Modular. Their Gen AI stack is promising top-tier performance, but across different kinds of hardware, NVIDIA, AMD's MI355X, even consumer GPUs, and supposedly with simpler installs.
So easier deployment, more agency.
Everything's being engineered that way,
Yeah.
Maximum agency, maximum ease of deployment.
But, okay, autonomy. Especially when you're talking about AI making big changes to systems, that screams risk, doesn't it? It demands safety, governance.
Absolutely critical.
Mm.
Which is why seeing tools focus on guardrails is so important right now. We saw areas agent constraints introduced.
What does that do?
It acts like a centralized policy engine. Think of it as a dedicated traffic cop, or maybe a safety inspector for AI actions. It's designed for secure scaling and implementing responsible AI practices.
And you need that, right? If agents can suddenly rewrite huge chunks of a company's code base.
You need structures to prevent total disaster, which is probably why these sub-agents architectures are gaining traction.
Break it down.
Right. Break down complex tasks into smaller, manageable chunks. Each sub-agent handles a piece, and you can maybe check for safety at each step before it moves on.
Makes sense, but is this actually happening in business, or is it still mostly research labs? I mean, you see studies.
Well, one major study cited found that 52% of organizations say they already use AI agents in production.
52%, that seems high.
It does. And those early adopters are reporting massive ROI, sometimes up to 88%, often focused on high-volume stuff like customer service.
88% ROI. Are we sure that's not just, vendor hype? That sounds enormous.
It certainly grabs your attention, doesn't it? But I think it reflects the first wave of agent use often targets that low-hanging fruit, tasks that were just incredibly expensive or time-consuming for humans.
Automating the really tedious stuff first.
Exactly. And the success there reinforces the business case, which drives more investment. But okay, if agents are executing tasks, the underlying models powering them must be getting smarter, faster.
Right. Which brings us to the models themselves, the model breakthroughs section. What are the big trends there?
Two dominant trends, really. Efficiency, doing more with less compute, and deep multimodality, integrating multiple senses like vision and language seamlessly.
Okay, multimodality. Apple made a move there, didn't they, with Manzano?
They did. Manzano is interesting because it's presented as a unified vision language model. The key seems to be this hybrid tokenizer they developed.
What does that do?
It's designed specifically to resolve the friction you usually get when you try to combine text data and visual data in one model.
Oh, okay.
The implication's pretty big.
Right.
One model that can deliver top-tier results on text-heavy tasks, but also handle visual understanding really well without compromising either.
So that's Apple's unified play. What about the broader race towards omnimodality? Handling everything.
That's heating up too. Alibaba expanded its Qwen line, debuting Qwen 3 Omni. They're claiming it's truly omnimodal text, images, audio, and video. Inputs and outputs.
The everything model.
Kind of aiming to be that single hub for all sensory input,
Yeah.
And at the same time, you have DeepSeek's V3.1, which they call Terminus. That one seems focused more on efficiency.
How about that?
Improving language consistency, better code reliability, but running remarkably well, even on, Consumer X. So power, but accessible power.
And speaking of accessible power, we're seeing big jumps in on-device AI too, right? Running locally.
Huge jumps. Apple, again, they showcased their next-gen iPhone hardware running a 16 billion parameter model.
16 billion on a phone.
Yeah, and apparently hitting triple-digit tokens per second, which is incredibly fast for on-device.
How?
Aggressive optimization, quantization using their MLX framework. It just highlights how powerful these edge experiences running AI locally, no cloud needed, are becoming. Crucial for privacy, for speed.
Okay, so foundation models are getting unified, omnimodal, efficient, and running on your phone. What about the more generative research frontiers, video, robotics?
Also accelerating like crazy. In video, there's Glyphs 1 2.2 Animate. It can reportedly take a single still image in just a short driving video clip
Okay.
and turn it into these amazingly lifelike performances. Really strong lip sync, too, like animating a photo realistically.
Wow. Okay. And robotics, physical world stuff.
Catching up fast, Unitree showed off its G1 robot. It demonstrated incredibly agile recovery, like push it over and it gets back up smoothly. And it had this striking anti-gravity mode. It looked eerie, almost.
So the digital brains are powering much more sophisticated physical movement.
Definitely. The connection is getting tighter.
Okay, let's shift gears then to the edge of impact. How is all this tech actually integrating everyday life, high-stakes sectors where theory meets reality?
Well, mass consumer integration is basically already here, isn't it? Google's Gemini AI, for example, just debuted on Google TV.
On the TV, what does it do?
On-screen conversations, planning assistance, turning your TV interface into more of an interactive planning tool. And it's deeper in Chrome now, too.
Right, the browser assistant.
Smarter, safer browsing, predictive navigation. Google is really embedding it as an AI layer across its main products.
And the creative tools are just exploding, making AI part of culture.
Totally. Google's Gemini 2.5 Flash image model that can turn your static photos into little 8-second videos, complete with generated audio, adds dynamism instantly.
Huh.
And even simpler things, like this model called Nano Banana, are apparently fueling viral image creation trends on WhatsApp, especially in places like India. It becomes part of everyday communication.
Okay, so that's consumer and creative. What about critical sectors? Healthcare, finance?
Seeing concrete applications there too? In the UK, the NHS is launching something called the ARSP platform.
What's that for?
It's got £6 million in funding, specifically to speed up nationwide trials using AI for cancer screening.
Using AI to analyze scans faster, more accurately.
That seems to be the goal. And doctors generally are reported to be increasingly relying on AI tools, both to boost care quality and to fight their own burnout. It's a dual push.
Interesting. And finance.
LG AI Research partnered with the London Stock Exchange Group. They've launched an autonomous financial AI agent. Its job? Predict stock performance.
An AI stock picker, basically.
A sophisticated one, presumably. And then look at the legal sector. Huge pressure there. Over 70% of legal professionals are apparently calling for major reforms in law schools.
Why?
To equip future lawyers with AI skills, tech literacy, ethics training. They know the old curriculum just isn't enough anymore.
Yeah.
The profession is changing under their feet.
And that urgency, that push for reform, it stems directly from the risks, right? The sophisticated threats this tech also enables.
Exactly. The sources here are pretty alarming, actually. AI-powered deepfake injection attacks.
What does that mean?
It means fakes that are good enough to bypass smartphone video verification systems, the kind used for opening bank accounts, proving identity.
So, enabling really sophisticated identity fraud.
Potentially, yes. And on the malware side, experts uncovered something called Mall Terminal.
Mall Terminal.
It's reportedly powered by GPT-4 or a similar model, and it can generate custom ransomware on demand. The attackers are using the same advanced tools to create new threats.
The tools are dual use, inevitably.
Always. And this is forcing the legal system to scramble and draw new lines. Look at the Warner Bros. Discovery lawsuit against Midjourney.
Right, the copyright guy.
Massive copyright infringement claims over Midjourney, generating images of iconic characters. The outcome there could set huge legal precedents for AI and fair use in the digital age.
Defining the boundaries.
Trying to. Meanwhile, you've got places like Hong Kong considering brand new laws just to tackle the problem of AI-generated explicit images, non-consensual deepfakes, and related sexual offenses. The law is struggling to keep pace.
What a trajectory we've covered. I mean, investments measured in the hundreds of billions, potentially.
Yeah.
The leap to these unified omnimodal models like Qwen 3 Omni, and seeing autonomous agents go from like a research concept to being essential tools in the real world, reshaping customer service, software development, everything.
The synthesis feels pretty clear, doesn't it? It's this moment defined by intense, like dual pressures. On one hand, unprecedented technological acceleration.
Full speed ahead.
Running headlong into these urgent demands for governance, for security. We need guardrails to protect against sophisticated fraud, massive copyright issues, all this legal ambiguity.
And you can feel the economics shifting, too, the actual cost of intelligence, that rapid productivity shift developers using new coding tools, Grok 4 fast slashing token prices.
Right, pushing high-level AI responses towards commodity costs.
That's going to affect profitability, business models in every single industry. Medicine, banking, creative work. everywhere.
Which raises this really important final question maybe for you listening. Our sources suggest that some industry leaders are now saying data quality, not just the sheer scale of data, might be the real AGI bottleneck.
Interesting. Not just more data, but better data.
Right. And the timeline for true AGI,
Yeah.
still wildly contested. You hear predictions from, small teams making breakthroughs any day now, all the way out to maybe 2055 or later.
Still anyone's guess, really.
Pretty much. So if the next big step really is restructuring our code bases to handle agents safely, as we discussed, and if high-quality, well-curated data is truly paramount, how should society shift its resources? Think about it. Are we investing enough in the curation and the ethical governance of data? Or are we still too focused on just accumulating more and more GPUs?
Data quality versus compute quantity. That's definitely something to chew on.
As the world keeps changing under our feet.
We'll leave you with that thought. Thanks for diving deep with us today.